So today's Bible reading for chronological Bible in a year is January 2nd. Genesis 4, 1 through 26, Genesis 5, 1 through 32. Then we get in 1 Chronicles 1, 1 through 4, which is just some genealogy in there. And then we get into Genesis 6, 1 through 22. So my takeaways from this are, well, we get Cain and Abel, right? So we have Abel offering the best of his flock and that being acceptable to God, and Cain not. He offered things to God, but it wasn't his best. And God just didn't accept it, and that made Cain furious. And he kills Abel. But when we give God our best, he accepts it. He doesn't accept, and he's not pleased with anything less. Something to think about. Are we giving God our best? That's what I think about. That's where this hits home, or hits me the hardest out of anything in today's reading. We have to give God our best. And are we doing that? Then in 4:4, it says, doing what is wrong opens the door to sin, and sin will control us. And that's God telling Cain that. So don't let this control you. Don't let it. And it did. And he ended up killing Abel over that, after that. Subdue sin and be its master, God tells us there. So that's something to think about too. Don't give in to our desires, but subdue sins, subdue our longings. Next we had Lamech. That was kind of a confusing part for me, and I'm probably going to have to dig a little deeper on that and read up. There's a few things in here that I want to read some commentary on and kind of figure out. I've heard a lot of this, but Lamech, he was the first one to take two wives, and then he has this there's only a little bit about Lamech, but he has the two wives, which isn't good. And then he also says to his two wives that, hey, I killed a man, and Cain was protected, so therefore I want more of that protection. Again, I don't understand where that's coming from, where that's going, but something I want to dig a little deeper on, a little more study on. So that was interesting. That was kind of neat. I'll have to dig more. And then per Phil Robertson, do a lot of listening to him. He's the one that he always says, Jubal, right there. Jubal is a son of Lamech. He was the first to play the harp. He's the father of music, and he says, Jubal's your dad. Anybody that can sing or play music, it's always kind of funny to listen to him talk about it. That's where he gets a little tidbit in there, a little fun. And then, so on that same note, Tubal-Cain, another son of Lamech, it was noteworthy that he was a forger of tools and great in bronze and iron. He was a craftsman, father of all craftsmen. I don't know, following that logic of Phil Robertson, kind of interesting. Then we get Enoch, son of Jared. It was interesting. I saw Enoch twice. I didn't realize there were two Enochs. So you had the son, Enoch was the son of Cain, but then we get an Enoch, which is the son of Jared. It goes on, but eventually from Seth, from Adam, not from Cain. And Enoch, God took Enoch. He just disappeared, according to the NLT. The New King James Version says, and he was no more. Very similar. Just God took him. He's one of the two people in the Bible that didn't die. We also get that with Elijah. He was taken up into heaven. We'll get to that eventually. He just disappeared. God took him. Enoch. I've heard stories that I've heard of the book of Enoch. I think the Bible references it. I don't know if it's the same Enoch or what, but the book of Enoch, that's not biblical. That's not the Bible. It may be a historical writing, but it's not the Bible. Something to think about there. But Enoch, that's interesting. God took him. He had that relationship. God just took him. And then we get into the flood with Noah and the whole things that lead up to that. The other part, and I've heard some commentary on this, but it's still confusing to me, and I don't know how to take or what to do with it. But you get the Nephilites, which are the sons of God. That says the sons of God had relations with women, and out of that, heroes and warriors were born, famous of the time, the Nephilites. What does that mean, and where does that come from? I don't get it. I've heard different people say, well, those are angels or those are this or that. It's not clear to me what I'm reading here, how it can, and what to do with it. If you're reading this and want to know, I mean, I've heard some commentary on it. Mike Winger's gone into this, but it's not completely clear, and don't know if it even needs to be, but it's there. There's something there. All Scripture is useful for teaching and admonishing and correcting. So I'm still waiting on that one. But Noah found favor with God. He was the only one righteous, and that's why God gave him the instructions to build the ark. And the other part of this, that it was, again, been to the Creation Museum, been through the ark down in Kentucky. That was really cool. And it mentions that 2 of every kind of animal, not of every animal, but every kind of animal. So just something that leads into more knowledge and understanding with the ark and what goes on there. But overall, the biggest takeaway today is offer God the best of yourself. Do all you can do.